attention, you are fulfilling huquq Allah rightly, Allah the Almighty would grant you the strength to fulfill the second one. If in the first one, I'm not fulfilling it right, I'm not praying literally for the sake of Allah, I'm not fasting for the sake of Allah, I am not delivering the message of Allah for the sake of Allah. Let me come to the even point, the reality right now. We are not doing His bidding, His ibadah for His sake. As goes in the ahadith, authentic ahadith, that the first 3 people would be thrown into hellfire. You will be really astonished. A person who used to recite Quran beautifully would be brought, and Allah the Almighty would ask him, what you have done for me? What you have done for us? And he would reply, oh Allah, I used to recite your kalam, Quran. And the answer would come, it wasn't for me. It was for people to call you the beautiful reciter, Qari waqad qeel, and we let people call you through it. You have no place with us. Remember, if you are closer to Allah, then our ultimate place is Jannah. That is the place. If not, then Nasullaha fanasiyahum. They neglected Allah. They put Him second, third, fourth. They have forgotten Allah. Allah has forgotten them. At this point, when we would be desperately needing Allah and His mercy, His blessings. If it wasn't for His sake, we are done. So my humble and utmost request from you, my dear brothers, my dear sisters, whatever you are doing among ibadat, for the sake of Allah, have it for Allah. No matter it is less. Purify it for Allah. Make it sincerely for Allah. Shaitan as well as my nafs all the time would deceive me. Don't go into that deception. Whenever you feel that deception, just imagine at the time of my death, all of us are going to face it. Anyone for whom I am, na'udhu billah, participating with Allah in ibadah, doing it for their sake, any one of you would be giving me 1 minute for life if I am on the death time? Just remember that. It is Him who has my life in His hand, my death in His hand. It is Him, the Almighty, who is giving me all the blessings I am enjoying, I am having. So keep this in mind. Once the deception of shaitan, and that deception is really powerful, especially when people start admiring you. Oh, subhanallah, I am something. I am someone. Huquq Allah means our rights and responsibilities, the rights of Allah, pardon me, and our responsibilities to fulfill those rights. This is huquq Allah. To literally belong to Him. And huquq Allah are fulfilled with 3 things. Number 1, ma'rifat Allah. To know Allah, to realize who Allah is. Remember, through his, there are two ends all the way. Number one, we realize Allah, we know Him through His kalam, through His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the second way of fulfilling huquq Allah is mahabbat Allah. Believe me, by Allah, the more you would know Allah, the more you will love Him, the more you will get involved to Him, with Him, and in Him. And the third one, and mahabbat Allah fulfills with understanding and learning Quran, with more dhikr Allah, with more ita'ah, obedience of Allah, with more istislam, submitting to Allah, with more being content, having this ultimate satisfaction. Whatever Allah the Almighty doing for me is better for me. Someone was asking how Allah the Almighty would be pleased with us, how Allah the Almighty would be satisfied with what I am doing. And my Shaykh rahmatullahi alayhi answered that I am not satisfied with the decisions of Allah about myself. Always I am stumbling, questioning, why this happened, why that happened. I am not ready to fully submit, yet at the same time I want Him to be pleased. I am not satisfied with His decision, subhanallah. First have rada. Whatever Allah the Almighty is doing is good for me, if you are truly His servant. This comes under ma'rifat Allah. Once you have this satisfaction, believe me, Allah the Almighty also would be pleased. And the third one, which again Prophet of Allah used to teach us, with the two, with ma'rifat Allah and mahabbat Allah, trying to get closer to Allah. From His end, He is close to us all the time. وَهُوَ مَعَكُمْ أَيْنَمَا كُنْتُمْ. Wherever you are, He is with you. More than this, نَحْنُ أَقْرَبُ إِلَيْهِ مِنْ حَبْلِ الْوَرِيدِ. This jugular vein, this is actually the symbol of our life. Allah the Almighty telling us, we are closer to you than your own jugular vein, your own life. Subhanallah. What happens from this end? I am the one neglecting. He is there all the time. Imagine whenever I am in desperate need. أَمَّنْ يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ. Who is the one who answers your all desperate calls? When you are in tough time, in hardship, who is the one who will take you out of it? وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ, and remove your hardship. Subhanallah. We don't realize that. But once we are in hardship, as Allah the Almighty said, إِذَا مَسَّهُ الضُّرُّ فَذُو دُعَاءٍ عَرِيضٍ. Amazing description of Allah in Surah Fussilat, Hamim as-Sajda. When my servant is in hardship, he is praying long prayers. Du'a'in dhu du'a'in arid. Now his dua is really lengthy. He is in need. But in normal circumstances, إِذَا مَسَّ الْإِنسَانَ الضُّرُّ, when a human faces hardship, دَعَانَا لِجَنْبِهِ أَوْ قَاعِدًا أَوْ قَائِمًا. No matter he is sleeping, he is sitting, he is standing, praying. Oh Allah, remove this hardship. فَلَمَّا كَشَفْنَا عَنْهُ ضُرَّ مَرَّ كَأَنْ لَمْ يَدْعُنَا إِلَى ضُرٍّ مَسَّهُ. Amazing description of Allah again in Surah Yunus alayhi salam. He crosses us by marra as he never went through any hardship. Subhanallah. Don't have this tendency, this mentality. Keep in mind all the time how close Allah the Almighty is to me. What I need from my end. Now let me come to the point. I need to open my heart, my mind. I need to let this spirituality, as it is taking over right now, to take over in the rest of 11 months. That's what I need. As my Shaykh Rahmatullahi alayhi used to say, and let me repeat because I shared with you this last time, the utensil of heart, I am putting it upside down. Now Rahmat Allah is coming down, showering upon us, upon me. I'm not getting benefited, unfortunately. Turn it back. Adjust your heart towards Allah. He is there all the time. As one of the ulama said, like the waves we have in the air, what you need is just to turn on your own device, no matter it is radio, it is TV. Once you turn it on, you will start receiving the picture, the sound. This is exactly al-taqarrub of Allah, His closeness to us, His existence. He is there all the time. I am the one absent. I need to come back to Allah. Now, very briefly, this hadith, I had more than one, but I cannot go through because of the time. Allah the Almighty saying, the hadith is in Sahih al-Bukhari, hadith Qudsi, ما تقرب إلي عبدي بشيء أحب إليه مما افترضته عليه. I want you to pay attention on the wordings of Allah the Almighty. My servant, my slave, my man, get closer to me with the most beloved thing to me, and that is the one I turn it obligation upon him or her. Salah, fasting, Hajj, Zakah, all the obligation, mandatory, fara'id. I am performing it right. This is the most beloved thing to Allah. And I am getting closer and closer. وَمَا يَزَالُ عَبْدِي يَتَقَرَّبُ إِلَيْ بِالنَّوَافِلِ. And my servant is getting closer to me day by day with the additional ibadat, with the optional things. Mandatory is for each and every one. And yes, he is getting closer if it is sincere. But my servant get closer and closer to me. And this is the qurb of Allah through nawafil. Tahajjud, Qiyam al-Layl, and all the nawafil we are performing. And once he is getting closer, hatta uhibbah, until I, and that's what Allah the Almighty is saying, until I truly start loving him through nawafil. فَإِذَا أَحْبَبْتُهُ, once I, Allah the Almighty, loves him, كُنْتُ سَمْعَهُ الَّذِي يَسْمَعُ بِهِ, I turn his hearing, the one he hears with. وَبَصَرَهُ الَّذِي يُبْصِرُ بِهِ, I turn his sight out of which he sees. وَيَدَهُ الَّتِي يُبْطِشُ بِهَا, I turns his hand which he uses. وَرِجْلَهُ الَّتِي يَمْشِي بِهَا, I turns his feet out of which he walks. The hadith is in Bukhari. Amazing, amazing wordings of Allah. وَإِن سَأَلَنِي لَأُعْطِيَنَّهُ,